Hey, everybody.
Hey everybody.
Hi.
Hey,
I've been missing you, ladies.
Missing you
Been missing you
too.
guys too. It's been a heavy few weeks.
Heavy.
It
yes,
has,
lots going on. Lots going on.
Glad to
it
make it
has.
return.
We have a lot to address today.
Okay.
So Cheryl, we're gonna jump right on there.
Yeah, so we can jump right in. We'll start with our introductions. I'm Queen Shara. I'm Houston, Texas.
I'm Cam from Louisiana.
I'm Crystal from Louisiana.
And I'm Tara from Houston, Texas.
Okay. So we have a lot to go on. It's been a pretty rough week. So Team Royalty wanted to get out with y'all and see what's going on as part of the Royalty podcast. In the beginning, we just would like to open up with a brief moment of silence for the recent deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and that's just to name a few. If y'all please, a brief moment of silence. Okay, thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all participating. We ask that everybody just keep praying for the families and just everyone all around. Okay, so we just want to get started, get in touch with everybody, what's been going on. It's been a lot. Since we last joined, we was in COVID-19 pandemic, just thinking that nothing else could possibly happen. And a lot has happened since the last time we spoke. Just to name a few, we were dealing with the pandemic crisis, and now we are finally being heard on we're finally being heard on the crisis for Black equality, Black Lives Matter, and that movement. Okay, Crystal, we'll start with you. What are two leading men? I'm sorry, two men.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Shara.
You can't hear me?
Mm-mm. No, you're going in and out for some reason.
Okay. I can get my headphones on. Go ahead, pick it up, Cam. Can't hear you either.
You must be
Yes,
on mute as
I,
well.
I was muted.
Okay.
So Crystal, while she's getting that together, I think we're gonna get off with our little icebreaker, have a little fun, and those that are joining us, feel free to tell us men that you admire. So it's close to Father's Day. It's June. We like to honor all of the men, all of the kings out there. And what's two? Give me two kings that are leading the cause right now, whether it's the pandemic or the Black Lives Matter movement, that you feel like just deserve a special shout out, and why?
Well, I can tell you that I have a few kings that I'm really loving. One is a pastor, Pastor YPJ. He is so phenomenal. But Trevor Noah, he's one of my go-to guys for news and comedic relief at the same time. That I'm loving Charlemagne the God. He is so ratchet and so get right with you. I love the thug in him. He's an educated man, but I like that, he'll get right with you too. So even though you asked for two, I got three that I'm following really heavily, and I'm loving
So who you loving the
they're
most
bringing
right
to
now?
the people.
Who you loving the most out of those three?
I love the pastor. But Trevor Noah is my dude. Trevor Noah is my dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps it real. He keeps
He
it real.
does. He does.
Sarah, what about you?
My two would be a Houston native rapper, Trader Truth. He does a lot, just supporting, if it's a disaster or Black Lives or whatever it is. And he actually led the rally this week for George Floyd. So I would say Trader Truth. And then another one would be Benjamin Crump. I'm in his law office because they're taking leadership and stepping up and for the people that are receiving mistreatment and double standards and stuff. So I'm proud of those are my leaders.
Cheryl?
Okay, my pandemic Black Lives Matter crushes right now are Killer Mike and Dom Lemon. I watch Dom every night, and he's just really
Yeah.
just keeping it real. getting us the information and
That's a
just
Louisiana boy, girl.
yeah, just being truthful and just one night he was just, you know, going off, speaking the truth and sharing his vantage points and perception of what it's like to be black for those that don't know or don't like it. And then Killer Mike. So Killer Mike did a short press conference for Atlanta City. I just like his thinking and his thought process to strategize, mobilize, and just be equipped and prepared so this can actually be a movement versus a moment. So those would be my two.
Okay. My two right now are Andrew Cuomo, believe it or not. I think he led the pandemic beautifully. I don't know if you guys watched his last Instagram stories, but he is speaking truth to power. NYPD has been a long time awaiting a reckoning, and I think they have finally met their match, and I am looking forward to seeing those suggestions go into law, anti-police brutality laws, that sort of thing. So I would vote for him tomorrow for president. Please let him run at some point. And he's kind of easy on the eyes for a little older nun.
Yes, I agree.
And my second person who's very easy on the eyes is David Banner. I just love his free thinking, his free thought. He's a man's man. He gives it like it is. He tells the truth. I love the fact that he doesn't do the emotional reactions that a lot of times people fall victim to. He's always just giving knowledge and telling people, if this is your cause, you know, these are some of the things you may want to do. You know, these are some of the suggestions. He's been a long time member in the game, and I appreciate his voice right now. So we got a lot of men right now that are stepping up, and I'm so very proud of all the kings across the board that are stepping up in amazing ways. It's nice to see, because typically it's normally us that are taking the lead and leading the charge, and that's still true.
Yeah.
Women are definitely on the front lines, but we don't feel quite so alone. You know, it's a lot of brothers and a lot of men out there right there with us. So, kudos to them. All right, Cheryl, we got your technical difficulties back. You good?
Can you hear me?
You still going in and out, but I think you're gonna be
still going in and out.
Let me just go. I'll just do a video call.
I love that you guys are all wearing black in solidarity today. We're just, you know, we can't all be where we need to be as far as marches and things of that nature, but we can all join together and say black is beautiful. And
you are absolutely right. And Royalty, as a founder, Royalty probably will not march. At least I won't. I will let some of our younger members march. I did participate in one of the marches, and yes, I'm definitely going to be at the water stations and setting up. You know, we have milk, first aid, we're going to donate, but I don't think I'm going to march again.
Yeah.
Hey, supporting from the sideline is still supporting.
But everybody has a role, and I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing your role. And I think that you shouldn't let anybody impress upon you and say, "Oh, you have to do it this way." No, it's many different roles to this thing.
Many different ways.
It takes everybody. As long as we're all united, we have the common goal, and we're willing to do the work. I think that's fine. So that's good, right there.
Yep.
I totally agree. We can't all do the same thing. I mean, in order to be successful in this thing, we cannot at this point in time let our foot off the gas. And we need to go ahead and, you know, keep this, like Cheryl said earlier, you know, let this be a momentous occasion where we continue this forward, but it's not just a moment. You know, we need to make sure that all of our people stay woke. You know, and those who need to be awakening, you know, we'll give them that power. You know, we can't expect everybody to come to the table with the same knowledge that we have, or understand that we've all experienced, you know, what we've all gone through and experienced. When they have questions, we need to answer them, help them to understand, so that they can help us with this fight. You know,
right? I agree, Crystal. I do. I agree. It's going to take us all, like you said, the community.
Yeah, we've all got to come together and do this thing together. I don't know. It's been a lot, but I believe that, you know, all the protests that we've seen, the riots that the people are talking about. It's
Right.
not actually happening that way. There have been thousands of marches, thousands of rallies, and it's just a few, of those
Bad
disparaging
apples.
things we've seen. It's not happening everywhere like the media wants to paint it. And we have to keep our eye on the prize and stay focused on what we are trying to accomplish, in this
Yeah,
season.
Kim,
you're
how was
absolutely right.
I'm sorry, Kim, how was the temperature when you were out there? How was the atmosphere? I mean, was it peaceful? What was your experience?
It was very peaceful. It was very cooperative. I think that Louisiana was in a very unique position that we had a lot of things that we can learn from, and we showed that we have learned and that we want to be better as a community on both sides.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend like, we still don't have things that we unlike some people, we're not Wakanda down here in Louisiana. However, we have learned a lot.
My Lord.
And, as far as our mayor came out and she blessed the parade, she's, not the parade, but that's really what it was.
Okay.
March. It wasn't a riot, but she she prayed. Our police officers and our police chief and stuff like that came out in support. Our constable was out there in Baton Rouge. I know in New Orleans, the mayor and, the police chief met them out there. And overall, they've been providing protection versus adversary. 2016 looked extremely different for us. We had the death of the murder. I'm not going to be PC. We had the murder of Alton Sterling here in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And of course, people took to the streets and they protested, and the police had definitely a different strategy. I never understood how you can meet a protest of police brutality with more police brutality. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
But
I don't deep scenes.
Right. Unfortunately, that's what happened. And this is strictly Cambry's opinion. So for anybody watching, don't think that anybody else has this opinion of what went on. We got to say that because, you have interesting people in this world. And so subsequently, we had a person that came in from out of town and did a kind of like an active shooter. And police officers that literally had nothing to do with the situation were not even a part of the Alton Sterling altercation. A lot of good men lost their lives that day and were injured. And on the heels of that, Baton Rouge flooded, and everybody needed everybody. It didn't matter if you were, not even just Baton Rouge, most of Louisiana flooded. So it wasn't, at that point, it wasn't white, black, indifferent. So I think this time, I've seen a lot of police leadership, even in rural places like Livingston and Hammond, where has been notably a lot of racial tints have shifted things in the way that they've done things over the last couple of years. And so that we've been able to have all peaceful protests across the board with no incidents. We had one minor incident and the police had to use tear gas to direct some protesters in a different direction because they were trying to go on a bridge for their own safety. And they left peacefully and continued on with the march, and they opened up whatever area that they decided they wanted to march at and let them do whatever they wanted to do. So I thought that was great.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So we can move right along. So anyone want to share what has been their favorite quarantine snack?
Every food, and it's starting to show.
Hot food, yes. Knife and fork type meals. I don't know what a snack is. I do like, the popcorn with the little Tony Chachere's or something. I'm a hot girl, I'm a Louisiana girl, so I like it spicy. And so we'll, sprinkle some Tony Chachere's on some fresh popcorn or something like that.
Okay. What about you, T?
Them ice cream sandwiches. I get the little 100-calorie ones. I think I'm doing something.
But
but I
only
eat maybe.
Calories if you eat one, right?
Yeah. So, I know I'm learning that. So I thought if I got like 100 calories per hour, it's not working for me. That and what else? Yes, I'm eating the ice cream and wine. I'm a wine connoisseur. That's increased.
Okay.
My grandma said it was good for you. You know, red wine is good for
I'm
you.
addicted to bubbly. And
Good for your
I really
blood.
do hope nobody comes out with something that says they're racist because I'm kind of addicted to these things.
It's gonna be a struggle, huh? What about you, Shara?
Mine has been
Crystal?
hot, fresh cookies. Y'all know when I get nervous, I start
Yes.
cooking and baking. And so I've made
Yes.
banana bread, but every night
Yes.
I'll do me some hot baked chocolate chip or chocolate chip pecan cookies. Just three. But
Yeah.
that has been
I
my
spent the night.
quarantine.
Right.
3 jumbo, but that has been my quarantine snack. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna need help. So
I was over there the other night, and I'm like, "You not feeling good? What are cookies? What are cookies?" I mean, that's what I came here for. What are cookies?
Let me tell
Right.
you something.
She ate them.
I
She
put
ate
on
the
a pair
cookies.
of jeans
Yeah.
the other day because I had a doctor's appointment, and who was so happy for the stretch in those jeans was me.
Yes. The cleaners has shrunk my clothes than COVID, and I'm sticking to it. So I feel you, Cam.
I've been going to work every day. I put on my clothes every day. However, because of the stress of it all, I find that my gun belt is a little tighter than it used to be. It gets a little tight around there, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, crawfish has definitely been on my list too. Crawfish.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yes.
finally switched it up and got some boiled crabs the other day. But there's
Uh-huh.
this place called Reno's in Manchac, and I didn't go there. They wasn't as good. But yeah, right now, wings, crawfish, just food.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. Food.
Okay.
The
Well,
good
let's
stuff.
kind of jump right on in.
Yeah, we can
Of course, we're here to talk about Black voting and why our votes matter and just the different issues that we face. So, turn it over to Shara, and we're
Okay,
gonna go ahead and get started.
so we're gonna talk about how your vote matters and the importance of your vote. Okay, first I want to send out the disclaimer. We're strictly here to inform and encourage you to vote. We're not trying to persuade you which party to vote for, but it's very important to actually vote. I personally get offended when you try to complain and then you say you don't vote. So you need to vote. So if you don't know how to vote, it's available. First of all, you have to register to vote. Okay, it depends on your state that you're in, but if you're not sure, you can just go to usa.gov and just type in voters registration. It'll give you the information that's available for the state that you reside in. Okay, and that'll help you get your information, as well as giving you the primary information, so you know how and when to vote for your primary. We've had a few that just passed. It just varies upon your state when they're coming up, but you want to be abreast of that information. Those are very important and key towards voting. Another thing, I'm from Texas. I'm a native, so ours will be coming up shortly. You do have to. There is a voters deadline that you got to get in and get it voted. Our state, some other states, you also have to check with your other states if they have the other voting options, such as the controversial mail-in ballots, or if they're disabled. So do your information, or if you have, follow the information on us.gov. Go ahead and get registered to vote, and then pass the information along. Get your family, your friends, everybody else, your whole group around you to vote, because there's power in numbers. I mean, it's evident, especially with everything that's going right now. And we're here for action for change. So those are the things that you need to do. As always, you can email Royalty Inc. 1 at Yahoo if you need information. I'll be glad to help you or guide you, or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram to guide you and direct you in the right direction as far as voting.
And that's a good point. If you're not a part of any of our groups and you want to be a part of our groups, we have Affirmations of a King on IG, Royalty Podcast. On Facebook, we have our Affirmations of a King, Affirmations of a Queen group. It's Royalty Presents Affirmations of a King, Royalty Presents Affirmations of a Queen. They are closed groups.
You ran through those fast.
Request to be a gender.
I said you ran through those really fast.
I did. We'll put the information down, so it's actually down there.
I have it up right now. So
yeah, you have it up. So I talk really, really fast, but yeah, it's on there. And feel free to reach out to us, join us. Like I said, we're in this together. We're here to help. You know, we actually care. We put action behind words. We've donated to multiple causes this week. We've protested, we've posted, and we're gonna continue to fight this good fight. Which kind of segue into the second point of it's not enough to just register to vote. You actually have to exercise your vote. And a lot of times, these midterm elections and your local elections and things like that, people are not voting. They think that it's okay to put a president in office. And I mean, we can look at what happened with, you know, putting Obama in the office for the Black voters. We put Obama in the office for 8 years, 2 terms, and we kind of left it there. We lost the midterm elections, we lost control of the Senate, we lost control of the House. And those things are important because when you're trying to pass legislation that directly affects some of these bills that these people are talking about, whether it's defund the police, whether it is anti-police brutality, whether it is making things hate crimes in certain states, like Georgia does not have a hate crime. And in Ahmaud Arbery's case, that is a clear hate crime, but they can't charge that in that state because that law is not on the books. So if you want those type of things on your books, it is important to participate in your local elections, as well as know who you're voting for. And so a lot of times people say, well, I don't understand this stuff. I don't know these people. You can go to senate.gov and you can learn about the people that are in the House and the Senate, as well as their voting records. Because if you put somebody in office and they're supposed to represent you, right, you need to know that they are voting your interests and not lobbyist interests. So if you want to look at their voting records, how they voted over the years, I know that one of the biggest issues that came out, and we was extremely disappointed, was a lot of women were disappointed. I was disappointed, was going back to these anti-abortionist laws. And, you know, my thing is I've always believed in whether I'm pro-life or pro-choice, I believe that it is a woman's decision to decide for her body and not something that should be decided by a government or state. And so with that being said, you know, that was taken out of our hands and that just kind of slipped right through across the board. And we're going to be dealing with that. So that's why it's so super important for you to vote. I hear a lot of times where people say, well, my vote does not matter. Well, your vote does matter, because in every local election and every bill, everything that they want to pass, it's the majority vote. The only vote that is not decided by the majority vote is the president. And that is because it is decided by electoral colleges. However, the majority vote tells the electoral college in your state how to vote or what votes to put towards what candidate. So never think that your voice isn't being heard. You have got to go out and vote, and you got to go out and vote every single time. You can go to your various Secretary of States, and a lot of times with the bills and things, they will explain it to you in more layman's terms so that when you go to vote, you know exactly what it is you're voting for. You know who you're voting for. And I recommend everybody do that before every election. Know what's on your ballot. Don't get there and be surprised and then vote Democratic or Republican. Because just let's be honest, this is a politics game. So I don't want to get into this whole Democrat versus Republican, but at the same time, Democrat is not synonymous with Black people. And Republicans are not synonymous with white people. So that's why it's important to know who you're voting for, their voting records, where they stand on certain issues, and how these laws and bills directly affect you. So, anybody else got anything to add on those?
No, that's very true. You have to do your research because there's a few Democrats at the state level that's under Democrat, and their agenda doesn't support, you know, me and the initiatives that I feel people of color are trying to do. So you have to do your research and not necessarily just vote straight Democratic, because everyone that's under that label now is or Republican is not maybe not stand for what you want them to. So it's very important to do your research.
You know, back in the 60s, I was talking to my dad, and back in the 60s and 70s when Black people were voting, what they would do is what's called a block vote. And they would basically get with whoever the person was running for office. That person would have to meet with them, just like you would do any type of rally, or if they were doing some type of forum to say what their policies were. And then the community would get together and decide, okay, this is who we're going to vote for. And therefore that would push that politician. They didn't have enough votes to necessarily allow the politician to win, but they did have enough votes to help to swing, a decision. It helped to get a better understanding of how we're going to vote, and we voting in the right direction. I think a lot of times, you have politicians who are talking out the side of their neck. I mean, we understand that. We know that's what politics is, but we also need to understand that, when we're looking at policies and how they directly affect not just you, but your family, what would this mean for your dynamic? When you get out there and you start making your decisions to vote, it's important that you study, that you read the facts, read what it is. Sometimes, like Cambry was stating earlier, there are websites where, whatever your local area might be voting on, they'll break it down in layman's terms, or it might be in a newspaper, the day of voting. So it's important that you read the facts for yourself. They're depending on us to see the commercial that says vote yes for this today, or a sign that says, vote no on tax number, whatever. And you just don't know, you might be cutting out the fire department that's in your neighborhood because you voted no. And now, it takes 15 minutes for a fire truck to get to your house rather than the one that was around the corner 2 minutes away. So it's important that, us as Black people really pay attention to the laws that are coming on the boards, to the bills that are showing up. And if we don't understand, ask somebody you trust, or follow up with these websites that we just spoke to you about.
Google is your friend. All of this information that we're talking about, Google, you can type in. There's no stupid questions to Google. So even if you're embarrassed to ask somebody else, you can ask Google, and Google will direct you, and then you can read. And if you still find yourself in a position, at least you know a little bit more to frame your question and say, okay, well, I'm looking for this. So never be afraid. Look for information. Google is your friend also.
And these people that are running for office, they'll talk to you because they want your vote. So call their offices. They want to keep their seat if they don't have it, and they're trying to get it from somebody. So call those offices and ask these people, what are you thinking about, what's going on, and find out what you want to know, what's going to help you and your community.
And so I'm a plug right now that Mitch McConnell's seat is up for re-election. So I'm not telling you who to vote or not vote for.
Fight the
politics. Letting you know that he's in real good with the current administration. So.
Yeah. Let's get that done. Let's vote. Vote your conscience, but at the same time, get with your family, get with your community leaders, and see what they're voting for. Sit down and have discussions about it. There's plenty of time to discuss these things, to get it done. And the good thing about voting is the polls might open at like 5 or 6 in the morning. They don't close till 5 or 6 that evening, sometimes later. So you have all day. If you didn't do your research up until the moment of, you have all day to figure out what you need to do and go exercise your right to vote. Too many people sacrifice too much for us to squander that opportunity. So make sure you guys are getting that done.
Okay. So I actually think you have a little bit more information for us on something that I think that's very, informative for our community, and something very important, and that is on felon rights.
Right. So there are within our United States, we have I think 9 states. Yes, we have 9 states that can possibly, as far as a convicted felon goes, permanently take away your rights to vote. Okay. Now, even with them permanently being able to do that, you can still petition the court and get your rights back. You have 2 states, that's Maine and Vermont, where you can actually be, while you're currently incarcerated, can vote. So in that case, there's almost no excuse. Now, I do know that in Maine and Vermont, it's mostly white constituents. It's mostly white people. So they're going to vote white or whatever. But in these United States, we have a lot of laws that have recently passed that's allowed convicted felons to, almost as soon as they come out of prison, gain their rights back. There might be some forms they got to fill out, some questions they got to ask, or whatever the case may be. But it's not a difficult task to do, and they can get their rights back. This is so important. I've had conversations with people, and they say, well, I don't vote because my daddy can't vote. Well, you know what? That's just ignorant. That's just ignorant. And guess what? If you don't vote, your father will never be able to vote. And so that's why it's important that we go out and exercise the rights that we do have. I believe that if you're a taxpaying citizen, or if you've paid your debt back to society and you have to live with us and walk amongst us, you have every right to make the decision about who's going to be your leader. It's unfair that we would keep our knee literally on the neck of these men or women who are coming out of the penitentiary and not allow them their voices back. How can we say that we want them to come back and we don't have recidivism within our communities if we don't allow them to have their vote? So it's very important that there's 18 states, including Washington, D.C., that as soon as you come out of jail, your votes are your voting laws are granted right back to you. That's important to know. Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all those people, you're going to have to do the whole situation, prison, parole, and probation, before you can actually get your rights back. But if you go to procon.org, which we have flashing under the screen, you'll see the map, and it'll give you the list of states and let you know what you need to do for your particular state in order to get your rights back. It's important. It's important.
And you guys need to lobby for your rights back. In those states that are making you go through hurdles or wanting to take away your rights permanently, this is why even having the conversations and organizing with your local community to say, that's not right. Because we're not going to ignore the fact that we have a pipe to prison, school pipe to prison pipeline. Basically, where they're making it impossible for the kids to attend school and graduate, and then they're directing them right to prison before they even have a chance. So that's all those new votes that are never going to be counted if we're going to take away their rights, forever. So those people, it's important to you guys. This is why you have to exercise, even if you don't have the right to vote. You have to assembly, free speech, organize, and lobby for your own rights back.
Right.
I agree. That's very important.
I agree. And it's power.
What were you saying, Tara?
Oh, that was it. I agree as well. And there's power in numbers. Everyone's votes counts, and you don't know how, a vote could change something. So everyone should vote if they have the option and the right to vote.
Right. That president election is important, but more important is your local legislation. That is the most important. That's who you're dealing with every day. If you either gonna pay $15,000 a year for that pothole that's out there in the street, or you're gonna pay 15 cents. It's something that we need to pay attention to if we wanna. If you really want to exercise change within your community, that's how you do it. Every sheriff is elected; they're not appointed. So how do you get better policing? You vote for the sheriff that's going to work for you, or you become a police officer and you run. We're looking at this brutality and these things like this. It looks better when we have some of us in the uniform, more of us wearing the uniform. We can protect our brothers and sisters that way. Cambria and I were having a conversation about someone saying that their community needed to have their own police force. Well, that takes a lot of money. It's a whole lot that goes along with, creating that. So what we can do is infiltrate the forces that are existing right now and make them better, make it better for our communities. It all starts with one. So, one step at a time, we gotta move forward. And like I said, while we have the whole world is looking at the United States right now and what we're gonna do. As Black people, we cannot let our foot off the gas. We need to drive this car. Let's get it moving and keep
it has
rolling.
to be movement. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. Okay, so we talked about their voters' rights. What about the right to bear arms, Second Amendment rights?
So if you go to a website, it's gunstocarry.com. It'll give you another map of the United States. You can click on any state that you live in, and it will give you all of the gun laws regarding, concealed license to carry, who can carry. The thing is, with a convicted felon, they typically cannot carry firearms. However, they can carry a black powder gun, they can carry a crossbow, they can carry a knife to a certain length, but that's all within we saw the crossbow situation.
Crossbow.
And the reason why he actually said on camera, the reason why he was carrying a crossbow, because he was a convicted felon, but y'all out here lying, talking about two black boys who got the car. But anyway, I digress. He had under his bed. That's why you got socked in the face with a skateboard. I think it was a young man that did that, sir. Look up. But
Crossbows matter, Krista. We got
he out here with a crossbow looking foolish. You better be able to shoot it as fast as Jamie Foxx did in Robin Hood. You gonna be out here.
Well,
convicted felons typically cannot carry firearms. However, depending on what state it is, and when you look at that, you'll be able to, when you go to that website, I suggest it for you. There are plenty other websites. That's just the one that I know that I saw where it's really easy to navigate, and it'll let you know what you need to do about concealed carry. There are many states like Louisiana. I know a lot about Louisiana law since I'm here, but Louisiana will honor a concealed license from like 30 other states, right? So just because you're traveling through Louisiana, you can still carry. The good thing about Louisiana, and I believe Texas is like this as well, they're open carry states. So you can carry your gun on your hip, carry your AR slung on your shoulder, walking down the street. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get stopped or asked a question, because, that looks strange, but you can, and you do have the right to bear those arms. That's why those guys were able to go up to the Capitol with their guns like they did, because it's their right and it's an open carry state. So do know that concealed means even if you have on a t-shirt and that gun, your shirt comes out of a band and that shirt covers that gun just a little bit, it's now concealed. So don't get yourself caught up in a trick bag and saying, well, I have open carry because of the state, but your gun is concealed in any way. It's considered concealed. It's not hard to get a concealed license. As a matter of fact, I recommend that all of our Black people who can carry a firearm get one. At this point in time in life, you have too many stand your ground laws and things like that. It's unfair that so many Black people have lost their lives to the stand your ground. And it's because we weren't armed too,
I support my Second Amendment.
It's different. Right? That old saying is different when the rabbit got the gun.
Yeah.
So it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And
no,
you can't keep hunting. And we can do this. When I was just at the gun range actually last week and practicing, and I saw some young guys, I'm talking about maybe 21, 22, and they got long guns. I'm just in there with my little 9mm. And I'm like, ooh, that's some firepower, you know. But the thing is, it's their right to carry. If
Mhm.
if they had been, white, people around me might not would have raised no eyebrows, you know. It's almost kind of an understood thing, but when it comes to young Black males, they're not allowed to carry, and that's a lie. That's a lie. So
Well,
it's
that's a myth
important.
that they want you to believe, because I know I saw that running rampant on the internet where we're just waiting on our tweet to come out and it's going to be done like you're the only person with a gun.
Right.
Out here in Louisiana, especially in Texas too, I wouldn't advise
Everybody.
you to take that. Don't take that. Don't take that bait.
Right.
Because some sweet young females like ourselves, you're gonna run up and you're gonna find out that everybody exercises their Second Amendment rights over here.
Every single one on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Come with it.
Stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
Yeah.
And that will preach.
Cock on it.
That will preach, honey. That will preach. So, don't be afraid to figure out what you guys need to do. Going back to the voting thing and laws, I found out just doing my research for the podcast today, when I started my job 22 years ago, almost 22 years ago now. They had a restriction, like they would say to us all, but it was more pointed towards people of color, females of color, that we had to have our hair a certain way. It couldn't be dyed. It had to be pulled in a bun. We couldn't wear braids or anything like that. And just in October of 2019, a law passed that said that jobs can no longer discriminate on people of color for their hair. And it just blew my mind that a law had to be passed to say, y'all can't keep messing with us even about our hair, even about the way we wear our hair. And that's why it's so important to vote, because look how long that's just for me personally, in my job profession, that my job can no longer, hold me back from a position or not promote me, or even in the hiring sense, hire young Black males or females that have dreads in their hair. All of that was written in my policies, back when I got hired. And so now, 2019, and so you think about those graduates, the young boy where they made him, shave his dreads last year, earlier in the year, whatever.
No, they tried to.
Oh, they tried to.
No,
They attempted
tried
to.
to. They
Yeah,
tried
he was on
to.
Ellen. They attempted to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that he had to have his own separate graduation because he was eliminated from his own, right? Or excluded from his own because of his hair.
But that's the important, now we're talking about another topic that we're going to have to talk about later, because there's so much within our community that needs to happen and needs to be discussed. But having our own has always been important and will always be important. You can't be excluded from the table if you own the table.
Right.
Hello now.
Come on, Queen Cam. Come on. Say it.
Yeah, I'm fed up with I'll give you the Fannie Lou Hamer words. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It comes to a point in time where we are no longer asking for our rights.
Right.
Why would I ask? I gave Cam the analogy earlier. I drive my car. I own my car. I pay the note on it. I pay the insurance on it. I get it washed, detailed, and all of that. Why would I call her and ask her, can I drive my car? No, I don't. That's mine. I have a right to it. So at this point in time, we driving the car. This is our rights. We're not asking you for them. We letting you know that this is what it's gonna be, and that's it. And so, we cannot let up off of these people. We cannot stop this flow that we have going.
I agree.
And we recognize all our allies for justice. We understand that it's not all people of a certain, it's not all non-whites, just like there's not all bad cops. We know, one wonderful police officer is joining us right now. And so the thing about it is, it takes everybody standing up. I heard someone say it's not about white versus Black. This is not white versus, this is right versus wrong. Evil versus, you know what I'm saying, good. love
Right
versus
versus racist.
right. And so, you just have to decide on what side of this coin you're going to stand on. And you might want to get it right,
Yeah.
And I'm appreciative of all of the sentiments that have come through, some authentic, some not authentic. I mean, keep in mind, and I think somebody made this statement earlier, your vote is important because they wouldn't be working so hard to suppress it if it wasn't important.
If it wasn't.
The other thing of that is when they can't suppress it, they want to manipulate it. All of these wonderful statements that we've gotten from Amazon 2 weeks later, the NFL 2 weeks later,
4 years later for NFL.
4 years
They
later.
late
'Cause, we just was an SOB not too long ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And so-
Last football season. Yeah.
And you know what? But here's the thing. One thing I can appreciate about that orange person in office, because I don't know what he is he's at least he stands by his ignorance. He not backpedaling.
He's consistently ignorant. Is that what you said?
He's consistently ignorant.
So you
But you can
appreciate his
respect that.
consistency.
Now,
Okay.
this is not to steer anybody on here of who to vote for. You can vote for your orangeness if that is your choice. I would just say, ask yourself why you're voting for.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. So we talked
As a
about
person
felons.
of color, especially.
Y'all got mad when Joe Biden said it,
But hey, it's only because it came out of.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Joe light skinned. Joe light he mulatto. He mulatto.
Listen, Joe has
Joe
already
is
had
right.
policies
He is
that
not
lined
ready
up
to
with
burn just yet.
what we need as Black people. However, whatever politician, shows up to the table and wants to hold a seat, we need to make them accountable for
Correct.
our needs. We need to
Yes.
hold them accountable for what we want. And we need to let them know. Like, that's, I think, a lot of our problem as Black people. We are not coming to the table with an agenda. We just like, take care of us, save us all.
Yeah,
What
and
do
just
you
assume.
need? What do you actually need? Because how am I expecting my white brother or sister to know what the needs are of a Black woman if they are not a Black woman or a Black
Here's
man?
the other thing.
Yeah.
And my thing is, it's not a demand. It's a
No.
requirement.
Period.
If you want our vote, if you want our support, and you can't get there unless we give it to you,
Right.
then you are required to show up and represent all.
All of us. That's
the only
it.
time all votes matter. And you're going to represent mine.
Right.
And our
I'm not
vote is
putting-
needed.
Correct.
Whether they want to
And so that is my
mention it or
thing.
not.
We have a lot of leverage power across the board. These midterms, my thing is, one person has already been voted out. We need 3 seats.
Yes.
3.
Let's go, people.
Let's make it happen.
Let's go.
Keep that momentum.
Yes.
Because the thing about it is, everybody that was calling for the impeachment, the reason why he didn't get convicted and removed is because we do not have control of the
Because we don't
Senate.
have the control. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
reason why some of these things have been allowed to stand, and y'all want to talk about this, can he do that?
Yes.
He can.
Right,
You know,
and that's why you have to go vote, and that's why you can't sit at home on your couch and then want to later say, "I can't believe it's happening this way." What do you mean? This is what you voted for, or one of
But
those.
this is what you didn't vote for because you
Yeah.
said my vote doesn't count.
Yeah. Don't
That's
complain if you didn't vote.
community. We have got to stop biting off our nose to spite our face.
Right.
You might not like Joe Biden. You might not like what he said, but you got a person who's willing to come to the table, was at the table, and said he was coming back.
Right.
So you can say, if you accepted those raggedy apologies from the NFL and some of these other people, then you can sit down and have a
Gucci.
conversation with somebody. Y'all still wearing Louis?
Gucci.
Yeah.
They painting your children in monkey suits, but you still
Gucci,
You're
H&M,
shopping at
all of them.
H&M.
H&M, that's right.
H&M. If you've accepted everybody else's apology, then you can sit down with that person and say, okay, look, you questioned my race and said that if I'm not Black, if I don't vote for you, what makes you my candidate?
Right.
And
How
here's
is
the
it going to
thing.
benefit me?
I want to know what you did wrong.
right.
Because you have to acknowledge where you erred, because you did a lot of policies and you put a lot of policies in place. him and Hillary had a lot to atone for with the Black community. We're not letting you slide past
Right.
that.
Right.
You did a lot of things. What did you do? Why was it wrong? And how are you going to correct it? So don't just blow smoke. I want to know what you did. And I want to know if you recognize what you did, where you aired at, and how we can move forward.
What is
And
your action
so-
for change?
That's
I
good.
should
know. The best
What is your
apology
action for
is
change?
change
Good question.
behavior. Right, it's change behavior. At this point, I don't want to hear your words. What your money do and what your actions do.
Two different things.
And you know what? The other thing to that is, I've seen this happen where people cast their votes into the sea. They're literally not voting for a candidate that can win. They're voting for somebody who absolutely cannot win. And that's where block voting will work. If that's what you're gonna do, get with your community and all of y'all vote for that candidate. Okay. If you don't want to vote for the Democratic Party's nomination, you don't want to vote for the current president, and you want to vote for Joe Blow, whoever's showing up to the table, independent or whatever, don't just take your single vote and throw it into the sea, and knowing that one vote, it counts against us if we're not all voting in the same direction.
Right.
So if you feel like, old Joe ain't the one for you, and you feel like the man in orange ain't the one for you, and whoever else might show up later to the table, or I don't even know who else at the table right now, but if those, if this other person, you feel like this candidate can win for you, then get out there and campaign for them. Get out there and get some votes for them, and make not just your one vote count, but your whole community. Anybody who you feel like
Everybody is accountable.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Everybody, it's time for accountability, responsibility. What are you putting? I always quote Mahatma Gandhi: "Be the change that you want to see." So if you want some changes, you have to start with yourself. Start voting, get your voice out, help, volunteer, find out, as well as, I like my whole circle. I'll make sure everybody's licensed to carry, everybody vote, so, and then we just grow among, so we can all be together in parallel. So I don't want anyone to miss out. Like I say all the time, let us all be great, but you do have to do your due diligence. You're responsible for it. It's just bottom line. You want everything else, so you're responsible for it. And then, Kemper, I know you mentioned the dollars and amount and the economic base.
That's very important, because we always hear, Black people don't have an economic base. We absolutely have an economic base.
Yes.
Let me explain something to you.
We are
you
the
didn't
base.
get correct. You didn't get emails from all of these retail chains. You didn't get all of these blackouts. You didn't get all
It
of
was
these.
like it was Black Friday.
Because it is Black Friday. Black Friday
Literally.
is us. We always go out there and spend all of our rent money. No offense. No, I'm just playing. Y'all, I'm not going to feed into the stereotypes. But Black people spend money.
Yeah.
Right. We spend money. And so
We're
that is your
consumers.
economic. When we pull away from something, that's just what happened in Montgomery with the boycotts and the situation, which the first boycott actually started here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They don't teach all that, but learn your history.
That's right.
We've talked about Black Wall Street. We talked about Rosewood. We talked about all of these wonderful places. There's so many Black history facts, Black American history facts that we are not aware of. You got to find a sense of cultural pride. That has been tried to be stripped away from us, to make us believe that we don't have a sense of purpose. We don't have a sense of pride. We don't have a sense of identity. Right. That is a lie.
Completely.
You always have to.
I heard an old saying that said, robbers don't go to empty vaults. If we were not a threat, if we didn't have economic base, if we didn't have all of these people chanting Black Lives Matter, you know why? Because they do matter. Roger Goodell said the one truest thing in his statement: there would be no NFL without African American players. There would be no NBA without African American players. There would be no, in a lot of these sports. Tiger Woods, whether he wants to recognize his African Americanness or not, dominated. We show up and we dominate. We show up and what they try to do, dominate. And so we have to know our power. We have to utilize that. So my thing is this: all of these people that have pledged their money, They put it into the NAACP. They put it into Black Lives Matter. They put it into UNFC. A lot of companies like Amazon said that they also pledged to work with their Black elected, their Black employees have a network, and they're going to give out grants that directly go into the Black communities. Every program, every community that is close to an Amazon distribution center needs to be lobbying for those funds to make sure that they get the things that they need in their communities. People put money out on the table, hold them to their word. Make them give you back what you've given them.
Make them
Guess
accountable.
what? And see, this is the thing with Black people. We all as a race have got to be willing to be uncomfortable and willing to sacrifice. I made it a joke, but my friends know absolutely. If I come to find out that Bubbly, which is a Pepsi product, is lobbying or anti, guess what? My nails right now, everybody knows I love me some long nails. My nail technician has been quiet. Guess what? So when it came back for me to get my nails done, I went with a Black lady because you were quiet. You know, I don't have to spend my money with you. I vowed to myself that I would not buy another Louis Vuitton bag. I don't have any Gucci bags. I'm not going to buy another Brahmin bag. But there are some Black designers out here that I can give my money to, and their handbags are just as good, if not better. What's her name? India Mom makes fabulous bags.
Okay.
And they're hand, like pretty much hand stitched and leather. Oh yeah, I got my eye on quite a few of those. I'm gonna spend my money with my people. And so we all have to be willing to make sacrifices. And don't underrate us to say, oh, well, you know, we don't know how to do business. They don't know how to do business either. Half of them profile y'all in the stores, call the police on you for a counterfeit $20 bill that was actually not a counterfeit $20 bill.
Yeah.
Mike Brown said you stole some candy or cigarettes that you did not steal.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Because
you have to
those
know
are
where your
issues
money's
that we
going.
have to talk about.
Do your research and see who the person that you're supporting or not supporting. See where the dollar's going. I know they have Walmart. I mean, it just depends who you're going for, but they have some pretty big spenders that are behind certain candidates. And if you don't want your dollars going there, then you shouldn't spend it there. I'm not gonna spend my money where people don't like me. I'm so funny. If you don't speak to me when I walk in the store, I'm leaving out.
Girl, now you saying something here.
I'm just not taking a disrespect, and you're certainly not going to get my hard-earned dollars if you can't speak to me or if you're not representative of what I want. So you know, you just can't have it all. So you have to do your research. We're quick to buy. That's one thing. Blacks are consumers. We do have more moving up the chain as Black businesses and owners. So we should support them. And there's other small mom and pops that is good just as well. I'm saying Blacks, but I do know other people that have been supported. I got some white friends, not the guilty ones that have called me this week to say they support me or they now understand. But I have some true that are, you know, ride or die that I don't mind supporting them because it's vice versa. You know, it's fair. So I'm not saying completely exclude. Just know where your money's going. If you ever want to know what changes things, it's money and power. They always tell you follow the money. That's why they're getting up and say, oh, we love y'all, this and this and that. Listen, people, take the lesson from the Indians, okay? Don't just be so quick. My only thing about Black folks, we're quick to invite people to the barbecue, and we're so quick to, forgiveness is good, but to accept versus a long-handled spoon. Okay, now everybody is kumbaya. Kaepernick was wrong. You know, we for him. Let's be real. Jerry Jones, even Texas owner, they already said, you know, we can push the ball, we can run the ball, we can throw the ball, we can shoot the ball. They fine with it. It was shut up and dribble all before. Okay.
I believe that was actually a statement made by Candace Owens. She told
it was a reporter.
Shut up and dribble. Never be as good as MJ
reporter.
Or no,
actually, it was a white reporter that said towards LeBron, and
she requoted it. The reporter
reported it. No, that was her quote, and told him, you will never be as
the
good
reporter
as
requoted it in her
statement. MJ, because you lack the intelligence to be. And that's from y'all. This is why it's important that we need to stop being so accepting. Everybody's not invited to the cookout.
Mhm.
You know, we're so quick to somebody make a cool little dance or a statement, then all of a sudden we never ask their motives. We never ask, you know, because there's
Why
a
are
lot
you
of people
here?
that have been real.
Yeah.
They appropriate our culture, and that was a real statement. I wish they loved us as much as they loved our culture. They wear dreads, they
They're
wear
children.
braids, they rap, they wear, you know, they love our culture. They fetish
You
our
know
women,
how-
they fetish us,
Yes.
but at the
Yes.
same time, they don't love us.
Look at the Meg Thee
Well, I
Stallion
also-
dance that
I
went
also,
crazy. The savage,
Yeah.
savage dance. You know,
Uh-huh.
you
I
see
read
more of
the,
them on there than you see of us.
Yeah.
that I recently saw a sign at one of the protests. It's
Wait, which one?
saying
Woo. Woo. We saw quite a few.
it's quite a few.
Careful.
But basically, if you're gonna support us all around.
Yeah, okay.
That's the point.
Now
Just
that's
don't-
politically correct. I
Don't
like it.
disappear now. Don't disappear now. You know, if you
Go,
can,
go say what she said. Say what she said.
You skipped me for a minute.
No,
Say
Y'all
what
know I
she said.
said.
no.
Pineapples,
Anyway,
pineapples,
well,
pineapples.
Y'all can check it.
My
My
mama
whole
on
point
this.
is, if you want to ride with the black race and the black men and be there for them, you need to be there through thick and thin, because we are on the front line. The mamas, the sisters, the aunties, the cousins, right or wrong, we're on the front line protecting and supporting our kings. So it should be across the board. If they're good for everything else, then they should be good to support and protect, and it's vice versa. Because y'all know I love a black king. I love a black king. I'm gonna support him. I'm gonna try to uplift him, and I'm probably I still stick with my black culture, you know, and because I know we're great people.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely. Like I told somebody else, we got a lot of housekeeping issues, but every day I wake up, I wouldn't want to be anything than what I am. I love being black. 100%.
I love being black.
I love it.
You know, and nobody like us can come up with you gonna lose your job.
Baby, that song has been playing in my head. Somebody.
I tell you, we're innovators. We start. I mean, everything ever since COVID. We got DJs, we got cooks, we got.
Let me tell you something.
I mean,
Ever since slavery, we singing "We Shall Overcome." We creating songs in the cotton fields, you know. So yeah, we've never let a bad time get us all the way down.
No,
let me tell you,
because we have strength. We're resilient. We have strength.
Like
we
I
also
told
had
y'all,
enough.
if I start singing "Sweet Low, Sweet Chariot," that means tomorrow y'all better be ready because we out.
we can
Come with that firepower.
Bring the big purse, Cam. Bring out
Yeah,
the
girl.
Peace be still. Peace be still.
So, all right. We thankful for all our viewers that we have with us. Y'all still staying with us and hanging down.
A lot of people
we do this for you guys.
I'm blind, so what's the comment?
Edwin says a lot of people are voting against Trump versus voting for light-skinned Joe. I guess Joe Biden.
Here's the thing. I'm not endorsing any candidate. I'm endorsing a candidate that's going to show up. And one candidate has proven that they will not show up for my people. So therefore,
over and over again.
And over again. I don't need to be convinced any longer. So I know who I'm going to vote for. But this is the thing, and I think it's important. And I think Charlamagne, the guy, pressed that point. More of us need to press that point. Joe, don't think we just a shoe-in, or that you just gonna get our vote and then get in office and forget about it.
To earn it.
You got to earn it, and you got to continue to show up. You know, because we have proven that these kids, and we not the millennials are not going. Yeah, I don't give a damn. No, never mind.
They different. They different. They different.
Look,
the millennials are the true definition of I don't get tired.
The Migos.
Dang. About no Target burning.
Not
these are Migos.
One thing I know why everybody was crying about Target is that particular Target went into black. You know why? Because all of their products were sold to the insurance company when it burned. So they fine.
Right.
Fine. They're fine.
You know, like I told somebody else, you know, no one, at least I know no one in our team, we don't support rioting, we don't support looting, we don't support violence. But we also don't support systemic racism. We don't support police brutality. We
Say
don't
it.
support. So I'm focused on the issues that got us here, not the symptoms
Mhm.
of what these actions have caused. When you want to talk about systemic racism, when you want to talk about police brutality, when you want to talk about the fact that we can go back to, you were not even supposed to put handcuffs on George Floyd because he had not committed a crime.
Thank you. There you go.
Period. You violated his civil rights. So when they get you for the criminal, I need y'all to go back and get that money that's owed to that family.
They got
Yep.
it. They got it.
Yep.
They got it.
So at the end of the day, we're going to talk about what got us here, or we're not going to have no conversation at all. Because if you expect me to speak to the looting and the rioting, y'all better be ready to speak to the stuff that got us here before we go further. We gonna address this.
You cannot punch me in the face and then get upset about my reaction. You got to take it how you give it. If you, like I said, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So, you know, you can keep perpetuating this cycle of thinking that you're going to lash on us, beat on us. It's over with. That's over with. And I say us, even though I wear a uniform every day to go out and protect my people. I am a servant of the people. I love people. I love people of all races. But one thing I will not condone or ever stand up for is police brutality, or someone using their power to manipulate or harm someone else. I tell my young white deputies that come behind me that I might be training, do not let fear overrule logic. You need to be thinking. Don't let your bias overrule logic. You have to be, you know, there are a lot of times when it's a split-second decision. But if you practice the right things, then guess what? You don't have to worry about it coming back on you in a different direction later on. You just don't. You know, we're human beings. We make mistakes, but guess what? For the 12 hours you on duty, I need you to be damn near like God. I need you to be almost perfect. And them other 12, you can screw them up all how you want to when you at your house. But them 12, when you in the uniform, you better be getting them right, all the way right, perfection. And that's just period. There's nothing else required after that. If you getting it on the perfect scale, then you don't have to worry about no mess ups because you got it perfect. You got it right. You got to know your job, you know. You got to know your job, and then you got to practice and perform it the way you're supposed to. And that's just it.
Yeah.
So
we have Melissa Jackson. She said Joe have to work for the vote.
Yes.
So that's true. We all agree that he will definitely have to earn it. He has to earn it. It's not given. We're tired of being sold a dream, and I really hope and pray that this is actually a movement and not just a moment. It has to turn around. It has to. We matter in so many ways, and it's just sad. Tired of. I would never get desensitized to anyone being killed or murdered.
right.
It's bad enough to lose someone, period, but to be murdered or their life taken away
Unjustly.
unjustly, and then to add insult and injury and say that he's looking down on us and he's very happy. It just doesn't make sense to me.
What?
It's infuriating.
Yes.
Someone quoted that he was looking down on us, and you know, I was just like, no, that's
No.
not
He's happy
how
about the job.
her
That's what
words.
he
So
said.
yeah. So,
Or that they were even
but no,
they were even talking about how he tested positive for COVID in April. Why are we talking about that?
that doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
They have to try
that
to
would never
paint
matter. Like I
him
said,
in such
Yeah.
an ugly light, you know.
Just-
right, your human rights.
Just like they
your
said, he had
civil-
pre-existing conditions that might have been associated. No,
your
Right.
he
human
was walking
rights,
around
Just trying to make
civil
him-
rights. That's something I'm always
I'm
gonna
pretty
fight for.
positive.
And anyone.
If I stand or kneel on your neck, you
I
probably
guarantee
gonna have a pre-existing condition too.
Longer
He did
than
have a
3 minutes,
pre-existing
it's over.
condition. Like I told somebody else, he had a pre-existing condition, and that's what they don't want to say. He was black.
He's
That was the
black.
only pre-existing
Perfect.
condition he had.
Yep.
He's
Thank
black.
you. Thank
But I'll
you.
never come to it. I'm like my mom. She for right. So if you
Right.
get something wrong, you're gonna get it. I'm for right, and that's my whole point. Is don't get sidetracked with people thinking, oh, we're against whites. No, I'm against right versus wrong. Period. But y'all
Well, the
know
thing
me. I
about
don't know
it is-
anybody, any animal on the street, any person, you know, and so it's just right versus wrong. I want the best.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm with you. I'm for right. I don't care who I'm on the side of right. I don't care who is for, who is against. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a human. Black Lives Matter. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I'm human, and at the
Yep.
end of the day, I'm also a follower of Christ.
Yes.
So,
We need a foundation in these times.
right.
Yeah.
So, so I tell y'all what, we're gonna end on the look because we kind of a little bit over our time, but it's Father's Day. All
Okay.
of us got some amazing fathers. You know, let me explain something to you. I love all of y'all daddies because they like me better than they like y'all.
Uh-huh.
I'm their favorite. And I know it. No, I'm just playing.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
So Kings, I'm working on y'all basket, so y'all gonna have a nice raffle. So look out for it in the Affirmations of a Kings group on Facebook. We'll be posting a picture, and y'all have to nominate why you girl dad, boy dad, group dad. I don't care dad, but you gotta post a picture of you with your children. We're not, and you know, I'm not gonna be petty and ask your child's mother for receipts.
Oh Lord.
But tell me why you
It's a whole nother show.
are a good girl dad, boy dad, uncle dad, god dad, you know, all
Bonus
of those
dad.
right,
Yeah.
bonus dad,
Yeah.
all of those, they matter. And so to close us out, my dad, and I've been quoting him the last couple of days, and everybody gets a kick out of this. One of his favorite things to tell me is, you know, you'll say, "Oh, well, Dad, no, such and such is not like that." And he's like, "Oh, okay, they not, because they show missing a good opportunity." As to say, if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck, and it's not a duck, it's show missing a good opportunity to be a duck. So them Larry Scott isms are amazing.
Yes.
So give me some. Look, it's me. What's some Georgisms?
Oh goodness. Oh, I got a few. So of course y'all know I'm a girl dad. I'm his youngest son girl.
Right.
So my favorite with my dad is but he's very sincere. He says you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. So that's just really something I've always taken and stick to me. Another one is Lord, y'all got the bleep button.
Yeah.
Don't take no with nickels. A lie ain't for a person to tell. What's another one? My Uncle Harrison, which is his uncle, is always, you know, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Try them all.
Try them all. It's like he said, don't waste your time. I mean, it's just knowledge. That they give and they bring, and they also show, and that they're there. So yeah, those are my role models, my influences. You know, of course, my brothers, of course. My favorite influence growing up was my cousin Brian. Okay, he was in the Marines, so he would come in. You know, we
and
see
it's
Brian
weird because that's my uncle and her cousin.
Yeah, we would see him, you know, every blue moon. But I never forget. He went to the Marines and he came. And I told my second or third grade teacher, and we ended up writing letters to him, and that was just a big deal for him. Like even still to this day, it's gratitude and it's love for something just as simple as acknowledgement. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being a strong, honorable Black man. You know, and so those are the type of the men that I've seen, and they influence. And then he doesn't. Y'all know he talk a lot, but he also puts up and he's there. And it's sincere. So those are that he's another great influence that I have. So I would say my dad, my uncle. Y'all know I'm Uncle Larry's real child. Y'all adopted. So we don't even have to say that. And then my brothers and my cousin Brian. So that's my influences. What about you, T?
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that my dad is, I mean, I am a girl. I mean, I am a daddy's girl, hands down. We did not get along as kids, as a young girl, because we were too much alike, and my mom would remind us both of that when we're both in our corner sulking, because we're not getting along. That y'all too much alike, and that's why it was a problem. And now I can call my daddy at any point in time in life. I woke him up one morning. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. because there was a roach and it was trying to get me. And my daddy came and rescued me
My
because
daddy
I'm
takes out
terrified.
my hair. Shout out to daddy's taking, baby. He is an expert at
He,
taking out.
baby, when I have a sew-in, baby, my daddy cuts down my sew-ins,
Oh,
baby.
uh-huh.
He is for real, for real.
Girl,
my
dad,
G.
for real. Uh-huh.
I mean, it wasn't
He is
like
a
I
mess.
had. My daddy was still cutting my toenails, that kind
Uh-huh.
of thing. Like he takes care of his baby girl, and I am so grateful for the love that he's given me.
Mhm.
He's taught me how to change oil and all of that, the tire, but he also let me know that if he in your life, he the one, that man need to be doing that. You just need to
Hello.
know how to do it just in case, you ever out here and you need to get it done yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that it doesn't matter the time of day. I can call my father and he shows up. I remember getting teased at work one day because I was just talking about him or whatever. And a woman was like, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy. I'm so sick of you saying that. I said, well, I'm sorry, you ain't got no daddy. Your daddy ain't no.
I know that's right.
But I'm gonna still shout out Bert Wire.
Yeah.
He's the patriarch of my family. My cousins, my aunts, everybody leans to him for financial advice. And he gonna give a long story, just like I'm giving one now. I get it from him. I get it from him. But if he ever meets you and I love you, he loves you too. If I don't care nothing
Yes.
about you, he still might love you. So I gotta be
He
careful about
pushed all those chairs. So we good for life.
girl.
For life.
So we're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna put that in the box. So we good for life. We in there.
Yeah.
He
came back
is not
the next day.
right. My dad was the Bill Cosby of men. He if the doorbell broke, he gonna fix it himself. Lord Jesus, it may not ring right afterwards, but he had every tool from Harbor Freight.
He had it.
Look, speaking of which, I had a table that came in, and I said, Daddy, I said, why don't you see if you can put your table together for me? He still took it out the box, and all of y'all know my daddy can't see.
Casey. Casey.
But let me tell you something. That's why that's my daddy, because I don't care.
Yes.
But he don't have weight. If I need it, he
He
gonna
comes.
make sure he get it. And this is the thing. This is what I know. He gonna call about 3-4 people. My table gonna get put together.
It's gonna get done. Don't think
It's
it
gonna
ain't
get
gonna
done.
get done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna get done. It's gonna
Yeah.
He
get
gonna
done.
call, come put my baby
Those
table
men
together.
showed up for that for our vision board party. And when Uncle George, baby, we just asked for a little backsplash. Uncle George, baby, had took it to a whole nother level. A whole nother level. And you got to love it.
He had a whole back wall.
He had
Y'all
his own
gonna
vision.
give credit where credit is due. Shower.
Cheryl.
That was my anti-vision for that trifold wall that he
That was still be a vision.
yeah. But hey, Pop's gonna
All
do
we
it.
wanted
All
was
I have
just
to
one
say
board.
hey,
We
all
got
I
a
have to
whole
say is
display.
I need, and he's coming.
And
He
it
gonna
was
do it.
beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was perfect. It fit perfectly, but wow.
And when COVID is over, we're going to use it again and again and again.
And again and again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say
quality.
Out, Tara.
Okay, so my men influences, I would say, all the men in my family, my brother, my cousins, Big Love, KD, all my cousins, they're supportive and all good men. They all gonna take care of you when you in that company. You said you ain't gotta worry about nothing. They gonna take care of you. Of course, my daddy, my neighbor, Mr. Arthur, another neighbor that recently passed, Mr. Gerald. They just true old Southern men that just take care of you. Whatever it is, hey, can you do this? They got you. They got you. They gonna help you out. So and of course my daddy, he's my favorite. You can't hear. He's my favorite. He loved me to death. You want my car, baby? I want my car. It's ready for you. Okay, Daddy, but that's Shara's car. That's not my car. I need your heart.
Look, he got me spoiled to this day. I
Yeah,
hate
we-
pumping gas because of him. You come to visit him, you gonna get your car moved. First of all, you gotta drop the keys. You gonna get your car.
You gotta
moved,
leave
get
your
washed,
keys.
detail, and then he's kind enough to go fill it up. So that's why I hate pumping
Yeah.
gas because he got us spoiled. You know,
Yeah.
but that's just
He's gonna teach you a lesson. It's gonna kind of throw you off and sidetrack you. About 2 months later, you'll be like, you know what he that makes sense. You can't fix stupid shits and giggles. He always says that little corny stuff. But yeah. He for you.
Yeah.
He for
Let
you.
me tell you something. We enjoy those men while they're here.
Yeah.
Like I told somebody else, we got stories for days. And what I love about our parents is they also love each other. Like we a true family. You know what I'm saying?
Big
We
nose
get together. You know, one of them bagging up the truck and one telling him where to go and can't see. He can't hear. So we
You know,
got
evil.
One
You know,
can't
evil.
see, one can't hear.
That's love. All the way.
Gotta be
But
love.
look,
Insanity.
between both of them, if it's emergency, baby, they gonna cross the straight line. They gonna stop the plane, the ship. This is stuff I've actually seen with my own eyes. They gonna make it happen. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen this man unasked this guy in a club. We was like, well, guys don't really get up because unasked this man out this chair for the seat, but it's just the man, the reverence and respecting him. Like he's courage, he's bold. He does, he doesn't care. All he knows is a woman in need. So,
Right.
and that's
They
gonna be on our
should.
next conversation. We're gonna get into back to men, and blacks together protecting each other, being kind and taking care of each other. So those are other elephants in the room.
I had a very
Definitely
interesting
cover.
comment. I had a conversation about that today, and this young man gave a lot of good perspective about that. So I'd be interested to see him participate in the comments when we had that conversation. And we need all
we
men.
just had a
I see
shout out for
Northside
Big
on here.
Northside.
I was
Yeah,
about to say, I see Northside on here, so that's
yeah.
another one I could.
Happy
The
Father's Day,
Fraser
sir.
family.
And
It's
so
here.
Tasha couldn't be here. One of our members couldn't be here today, but we definitely want to shout out her dad. Her dad is definitely
Yes.
a stand-up guy. He's a veteran. We
Yes.
love
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. He gonna make sure his favorite daughter, which is me, I'm everybody's favorite. I just need y'all to know that. I get my crawfish and whatever else I want. And it was funny because somebody said, "Well, y'all know Cam thinks she family," and baby, she is family. I was like, and that's why that's my daddy. And so we just want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in advance. We're gonna get back with you guys soon. We're gonna continue the conversations. We're gonna keep our foot on the gas.
Love, support.
Because as you all
encourage,
know,
prayers.
we all we got.
all we
but
got, but we're
All
all we need.
we
Yes.
Love
Yes.
you guys. See y'all soon.
Love you.
Later,
Bye-bye.
Kings, Queens. Go register to vote.
Vote.
vote.